Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of 1 Million Mind. Today, we are going to deep dive into some of the really cool AI startup companies we've looked at, and also a report about the state of AI 22. It's an amazing report. It's a lot of information that's over my head, but I only brought some things that were, interesting to me. So stay tuned for talking through some of the experiments that Balaji's been doing with even stable diffusion. So anyway, this we wanted to get some more hands-on experience with some of the tools we're talking through and share with you guys how much things have even changed in the last few months. So how are you doing, Balaji? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm doing great, and I think it's a nice twist to the episode, right? We are just going to show what we are hacking on sometimes and what outcomes we see with the little hack here and there, right? This week I'll discuss something about stable diffusion, EBSynth, and NVIDIA SDK that came out with AR capabilities.
Awesome. Yes. Let's start with the state of market report I was looking at. So perfect. So this was a giant document. So what I'd focused on was their industry. Some of the things that jumped out at me was just um, what I wanted to see is how is AI research happening around the world, right? Of course, I'm interested in what's going on in India and the United States, but what was very surprising is how big the gap is between China and the United States. If you just look at English research, they're almost neck to neck. But if you look at the entire spectrum of what China is doing with their own Chinese research too, you can see that it's like hands down they are putting a lot of effort into the next AI space.
Wow.
And they also have looked into, so this has implications, security, geopolitics, because it's funny because a lot of research. If you are interested, you can read more about it. But the surveillance, autonomy, scene understanding, object detection is what Chinese research is focusing on, and the US is more on the autonomous vehicle, more on the imaging side. So even though there's more research and there's a big gap, even the topics that they're researching are so different. So it's just interesting to see how this all play out when there's almost like a 4 to 5x difference in research. I want to see how the next 10 years plays out in the space. So, uh, do you have any thoughts on
That's
just
that's
initial
that's
take?
uh, insane. It's almost 5 times the work done in China with respect to other places, right? Okay,
Yeah,
it's
India
gonna
is slowly inching, but we really, as a country, so if you kind of fast forward, this is, I mean, just for everybody, why is this important, right? Because most go to market, like actual tools that we use, comes from the research, right? Like it always starts somewhere in research, and then there is a commercial version of it. So the more body of work research done, the more commercial viable companies or ideas that can come out of it. So that's why it was important to me. So that's one. And then just as it stands now, because this I wanted to kind of set the stage for how things were are right now, right? If you look at the number of AI unicorns in the United States, like 292, China 69. But what we just saw on the previous slide is basically how much more research you're doing. So if you fast forward 10 years, I can see these numbers being more in line or China even overtaking, right? So that's really what I really wanted to see. But it's great that so much research is going on everywhere, and there's a lot of good companies coming out of it. I want to, at some point in the future, talk about some of the business model. Do these companies, standalone AI companies, even exist? Or bigger companies with wider distribution like Google, Microsoft, take some of these features and offer it, just like Microsoft did with Teams. When they saw Slack was being successful, they offered it for free as a package to all of their audience in the business world that they had distribution to. And now I think more people use Teams and Slack, right? So to me, I want to see how this all plays out. I'm pretty sure there'll be some big winners who are standalone, but
right.
also can see like how easy, because a lot of these models are open source, so how easy for any copycat or bigger company to only to wait to see what is really successful, where is adoption happening, and capture that, right?
So
So
is this more of a tracking issue when you compare China versus US, because obviously you're showing that there's more experimentation or research being done, but when you look at where the actual unicorns are showing up is in US, right? Is that what I understand from these graphs, right?
Yes,
It's
yes.
facing. So is it because they just do the research and it's academic and nobody's putting money towards it in
No,
China?
I think
It's not
I
even
think there's a lag, right? Like lag from research to actual production. I think what we saw was it is increasing. So this all these companies that are in the US, I'm pretty sure there's a 5 to 7 year lag before that research became here. So there is a lag. That's one thing, but also access to capital is a lot more easier in the United States at this point. So that might be one of the reasons. And again, if it's really good technology, I don't know how easy it is to commercialize it when a state-owned government runs it, right? So we
right,
might never
right.
have the same number of unicorns, but doesn't mean they're actual complementary. Like even to me, TikTok is a AI thing, right? At the end of the day, what it does well is present you with the best video that keeps you hooked on, and the algorithm works on it, right? So it's a curation tool, but it does a better
Right.
job than most other tools, and that's out of China. You know what I'm saying? So we will see some of this come out of China from all the research, but it might not have the visibility like we'd see the US ones.
Gotcha.
All right. So and then these are some of the cool things happening. I want to show you one of these companies later, but because all of these AI tools need large training models, and it's expensive. It takes a lot of time. So what's happening is now smaller AI companies are teaming up with the bigger companies like Microsoft, Google Cloud, AWS to help with their either from an investment or be able to train them their models using their partnership. So this I think it's interesting because like we talked about earlier, if this works well, then maybe Microsoft will get a cut of what the upside is, right? So
Gotcha.
that's really how I think. And these companies, smaller companies, will get distribution and also have the money that they need to, keep continuing building these models, refining these models to make it a better tool. So,
Yep. Yep.
and the last one I have is just I just want to talk to overall investments have slowed down across the market. Everybody knows we are heading towards a recession or we are in a recession, depending on what definition you are looking at. So it is coming down, but if you still look at it 2020 to 2022, we still tracking to a bigger number, not as high as 2021, but a bigger number. But it's public companies valuations are going down. There's another piece of data point where it shows private companies data values are going up, but we are in more of a consolidation phase. People, there's not free money to throw at everything right now, so people are getting a little bit more careful with where they spend the money. So these are some of the takeaways for me from the state of AI. I think is if you guys have time, you should read it. It's definitely a very good overview of everything that's happening from research, from politics, from predictions. Highly recommend everybody go read that. Any thoughts on this before we jump into some of the tools that were referenced here?
No, absolutely. I think, yeah, you're just bringing to attention what reports are giving more insights into the field, right? So the state of AI, like you said, it's like how many hundreds of pages. I think you're just summarizing a few highlights. I think, yeah, encourage everyone to take a look at it. Maybe you have other fields of interest and other slides that you might like from there.
Absolutely. So I'm excited about showing the next one. So let's get into this. So
Okay,
I'm going to
let's
go.
see.
So this is called character.ai. Okay. It
Okay.
is it blew my mind when I was working through this. Is basically there are characters basically who have been models who have been built on publicly available information, or if it's a TV character, and then they've built a character by AI. So I'm gonna pick one character that we can talk to. So okay, I feel like talking to Elon Musk, right? So what would be a question you want to ask Elon Musk, Balaji?
Um, oh, okay. So the
I can ask the
question,
first question. Think about the next one. I didn't
yeah,
want to put you okay. What do you
let me
think
think about it. Okay.
about no, this is like you can ask anything, right? It's basically like you're talking to a digital version. So So I'll ask the question, what do you think about Twitter 2.0? So making great progress there, making the product more useful, more entertaining, more fun. It's a free speech platform. By the $8, a lot of great new ideas. So
Oh yeah, I got it. Did you suspend Kanye's account? Why did you do that?
this will be funny. This is as of yesterday, right?
Yeah,
Why
I
did
remember seeing that in Twitter.
yeah. So let's see how good this tool is. This
He
look at that.
promoted. Oh, there you go. But that was
The
old
amount of
news.
mistakes.
Okay, so it's based on
He
that, is
did
it?
this
Okay.
yesterday, and we couldn't even stop, even though we asked him to. So let's talk about why are you focusing on Twitter when you should be focusing on SpaceX? I'm just making up stuff, right? So it blows my mind. Space is amazing progress every day, which is the most remarkable since we reached. So it didn't really answer why, but it's saying it's still SpaceX. It's a relevant answer, but not like completely on
What
point.
about
But
the? Yeah, I'm just reading through. What about the Neuralink that's going live? Where is the first application? Right? Is it going to be treating some mental
Neuralink first
disorders?
application.
I think they have a launch coming up in 6 months, right? Is saying that the
So basically saying they'll have
yeah
immense
brain paralysis,
improvement life, productive member of
spinal
society. The
injuries.
point is like it almost feels like you're talking to. I don't know how they build. I'm assuming there's models built on all of this interviews, all of the things he puts on Twitter, and they've built a
Right.
model where you feel like you're
Creates a
talking. So
personality out of it. Mhm.
yeah, it creates a character you can talk to. Imagine being able to talk to dead people like Albert Einstein and our current president, or you can talk to Kanye
But
if you want to.
this is based on
So
what we know from their public material, right? Got it. Okay, that's interesting.
correct.
That's a cool
It
application.
is, yeah, and the Walter White, if you have like a movie characters that you like, you can talk to God, you can talk to the devil. It just to me it blew my mind because I was doing some conversation with Joe Biden just to see, and I thought it was one of the coolest things. So I highly encourage everybody to go, just play around with it. It's so to me like if I step back from it, this is all good, but
Characters.ai, right? So that's the
yeah,
URL.
but if you think
Characters.ai.
about it, right, if you had one of the this is almost like it could be a mentor for you. So if you built in everything, like I don't know how much public other than books and things that Albert Einstein wrote, but let's say you have a very interest or somebody who's a TED talker or somebody you really appreciate, and they could be an artificial mentor for you on in your pocket anytime you want to ask questions because the character has all of the information that they've ever written or spoken about. So I just feel like there's
But this is
so much.
also this is also tremendously influential. How do you guarantee everything that comes out of the response is influenced only by that character, right? What happens if somebody
That is true.
starts sneaking in some traits or personalities to bias you towards something else? This is always the confusion I have, right? Um, how rigid or who is policing this? How do you know
Yeah,
what's coming out is the
it's
actual
almost like
character
a
trait?
Wikipedia. Like
Right.
anybody, I'm pretty sure there are models behind it, but it looks like somebody's personal, like somebody's actually creating
But this
this.
is
Like,
way more influential in my opinion, right? If you're saying that somebody's going to feel like they're talking to Elon Musk, every word that comes out of it might matter. And what if that thing in the background says do something else or whatever, right? It just people are just going to do it.
that is true. That is true. I think it'll go from just a fun entertainment conversation to actually influencing people. Yes, I agree.
Right, right. Interesting.
That
Okay,
is something.
cool. That's a good
So
find.
again, the next one I want to show is this one is called Adept. Oh my God, this one is so the best way for me to describe it is you. It's almost like a micro bot for you on the website, and you can. I just signed up to be on the wait list. I'll show you what it does. So that's it. This basically says find me a house in Houston that works for a family of four. my budget is 600K. So it will go into Redfin, put in Houston, and then based on what your
Oh,
criteria is selecting what max price, how many bedrooms, family of four, filter the results, and then if they found a favorite house for you.
interesting. So this is pure automation, right? So it just takes
Yeah.
your text and then goes known
This is
websites
your
and
prompt, and based on the prompt, we
punches it
can
in.
do, yeah. So that's
Interesting. Yeah,
one, right? And then
the phone bots. It looked like it took a
and
phone app and punched a bunch of stuff in.
yeah, this is basically like if you are a call center person, you're saying you're logging a call, is thinking about buying something, instead of you going to Salesforce and putting all the different screens and capturing it, the bot does it for you.
I see the use in the support
So
side
make
of
a
things. Yeah,
profit column.
it
Oh,
saves
this
a
is
lot of
even
clicks, right? Yeah,
yeah. Look at this in Excel. You can say make a profit column and make a profit column margin, and it knows what calculation to put. And you can say, by the way, filter out anything that was lesser than a certain percentage. It filters out or hides it. So it's translating text to actual formula
actions.
and then fixes it. So you don't even have to learn Excel if you could use this tool.
Yeah, it
I'm
almost
I'm
reminds
just
me of a very early speech to text. Like you train it, right? You say this is what you do, and maybe somebody took all of that and made an application now, right? Whatever has been recorded in macros and all kind of things on Excel. Interesting.
so it's crazy like how like you can ask what I'm saying is about the end of the day it is a simple text voice. It could be a voice to text interface that is basically going to go do micro tasks for you around the it's an Excel task, be looking for out almost like having a personal secretary,
Right,
or
right,
some of the simple,
right.
but some of these are not simple tasks. To me, adding a column for profit and then margin and removing it, it takes a few clicks. Now it's taking over all of these, what I'll consider as at least a little bit more complex than just providing prompts for like one thing, like we're going to be doing in stable diffusion, right? Like, give me a picture. I mean, I'm not saying that's easy, but this could be. I mean, again, I'm just seeing a screenshot view of it, right? But if
Right.
this works as advertised, I think this point for me at least on how uh, people who are not even adept using this tool immediately can become semi-experts in using Excel and using a salesperson's 30%, 40% of the time is spent in typing notes and finding the right places to type it, and this takes over. You know what I'm saying? Like, just I can see how it could absolutely improve efficiency of every worker.
Absolutely. I think that's the use case here, right? Anybody who has 100 tabs open, trying to look for information on a daily basis, trying to support calls or customers, this could be a very useful tool, right? To save them time to summarize or try to figure out the workflow, or if you program it that way. So you don't need to do that manually anymore. Saves a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. I've joined the wait list, so let's see if I get in. I can't wait till I play around with it.
Adept. Yeah,
So,
interesting. Interesting project.
and this one, I think we've met a lot of AI generated content writers, but some of them are powered with a different language model. This one's a large language model. There's a little difference. So it's basically you can use this for even running your chat bot on your website. You can
Mm.
because they will feel like they almost are talking to a human because that's how much um, and it'll feel almost natural the way you're talking. So and I'm trying to learn more about this so I can use it because you do commit and it will basically create content for you at the end of the day, like almost like a prompt to help create content. Oh, this one, okay. Sorry, I'm just going
Gotcha.
through because one of the things that was really exciting for me is now you've created content, words, right?
Right. Right.
Imagine AI that can read the words for you. Okay, that then
And
it
feel the
becomes
emotion.
like you give
Right.
prompts, content is created, AI is reading it. But then biggest issue is I was able to find AI voices that were like an Indian accent, a British accent, or Australian accent. So you can use accent, but what it couldn't do was emotions,
Right.
right? So if you can do emotions, like, I don't know if you can hear it, but anyway.
We finally did it! Mission accomplished!
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. You never listen to me and you just keep talking.
So that's angry.
I'm just so sad and down. I don't think.
You see how the emotions change. So for you to be able to create content and then be able to convert that to audio with actual emotion, that's going to blow my mind. Just thinking about all the audible books you could create from text, whether you wrote it or AI wrote it, but now you can add emotions to it, whether it's happy, amused, sad. I think this is something that I've been
So
trying to do,
so
because
this can take a paragraph and literally read it in a, with the ups and downs of the emotions in that paragraph. Is that what you're saying?
yes,
Just give it
yes,
okay, interesting. That will be fun. Yeah, for audibles, like literally use, like you don't need a person to record it anymore, right? You just
yes.
throw the text and this software is going to create the audible for you.
That's
Interesting.
one, right? But the second use case I'm thinking about, we're talking in English right now. Let's say we want to translate this to Tamil or Hindi,
Right.
some other language, right?
Right.
We don't need to be native speakers, so the words can be translated into another language. But the way we are using the words, the emotions is
Correct.
tougher to translate.
The
So
accent and
imagine
the
being able to
emotion.
do a translator with emotions, and now you speak in one language, you could have 50 languages you can translate it to. So to me, that is
That'll be fun. Yeah.
it is amazing what it can do. Like without
Now,
human intervention, with
is this a
emotion.
API enabled service as well, or is it still in a very early
It's
stages?
this lab is creating it. They're basically just like other models. This model focuses on emotions, so you can add this model to your process. Okay, and then
11
coming
labs.
back to more of like, as I have young kids, right, and I'm talking to them, and like, okay, how do you so you can create children's stories using AI. So you can create your own personal stories using AI with just a few prompts. I think I
Right.
created one, or at least looked at a sample one. So you can see, I'll share this tab. So these are all user created ones. So this is somebody sat with their kid who likes basketball, and they like the Lakers. So those are the prompts you put in, and then now it's showing that this kid likes the Lakers, since he was 3, then he made it to the team. They're like a whole story with images that is personalized to the kid who's who wants to be on the. So all I'm saying is these, and it's all, you put in a few prompts and it spits it out in a few minutes. So now you have personalized stories. You can do you have specific, you want to improve their moral, or teach them better characters. So you can add some things to make the story go the way you want. But it is as simple as taking creating a story with a few prompts. And I think, what was the pricing for this?
That
Like
seems
for
fun.
$5, you can create like 5 stories.
Storywizard.ai. Interesting. So it does the illustrations too. That's neat,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, I mean, I'm going through a bunch of them. I'm going to stop here after this. I want to talk to you about the stable diffusion. But one of the things that really is interesting to me is I consume a lot of content, whether it's videos, reading blogs, newsletters. There's some that I can't get to just because there's so much, right? So I've always been interested in something that can summarize, whether, I think you and I talked about it, summarizing notes, summarizing videos into
Right.
just a small section. So if you like it, then you can go on deep dive, right? Just like reading book highlights. So they are doing this with the Glass. So basically, a Chrome extension. You can highlight, summarize what's going on in that page. I don't think they do videos as much, but it's really cool that they'll be able to, not just save time and just get to the gist of what you want, rather than spending a lot of time in every single newsletter or every single article. So
Interesting. Okay. Personalized
awesome.
summary
So
of things.
those are some of the key things that are again, every day, just to let the audience know, every day there's so many of these tools coming up. It's hard to keep up. So I'm trying to just pick and choose things that I find it interesting. So, but this is a rabbit hole you can go down for months, if not years, just to understand all the things that happen in the ecosystem. So find the niches that you guys like, and go through that and find out what things are happening in that space and see if you can get involved, play around with it. I'm going to try to get accounts for most of these and log into the beta version and play around and see. Almost every week a new model is coming that's better than that. Now GPT-4 is rumored to be almost out in the next few weeks. Maybe it will be early next year. But the bottom line is a lot of these um, refined models, which, let's say we took GPT-3, right, and they built some refined models in it. Now when GPT-4 comes, it will be leapfrog over this one. So people have to like migrate their whole process to the newer one and then start refining from there. So I'm excited about what the next generation brings, even because even now it feels like magic. I can't even imagine what the next version of this is going to be. So
Interesting.
that's all I
That's
want
fun,
to share. I
fun
know there's a
stuff.
stable.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Huh?
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, these are all fun projects.
Awesome. I will stop sharing if you want to talk through.
Yeah, I was playing with a couple of things. I just want to talk about it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the NVIDIA has released this Maxine SDK kit. It has audio, enhancing audio, enhancing video, augmented reality. So one thing that caught my eye is the let me bring it up. So the feature where the software tries to keep your eyes focused on the camera, right? Even though you're looking away from it. Again, the practical use is everyday people looking at webcam or typing something, and you lose eye contact when they're talking. Many of these use cases, right? And there's now models where it's tracking your movements and it's trying to substitute for your gaze.
Oh.
Right. So so let me play this video. Right. So what I did was I downloaded the SDK and I was looking around all over the place and trying to see whether. So the left side of this video is me on the camera. It's tracking my movements in the box and all the parameters here. On the right side, it's trying to compensate my eyeballs so that it's always looking at the camera. Right. So that's essentially what it's trying. So I did some movements like I closed. You can notice that it is trying to compensate when I close my eyes and just remove my hand. You can see the gaze go back to normal, what I was doing, and then immediately it'll substitute it again. So things like that. So let me play that.
It's a real time too.
So essentially.
Or do you do it after post-production?
I'm sorry?
So is it happening real time or is it post-production?
No, this is the SDK. If you have a graphics card, right? So you need to have a NVIDIA graphics card to support this. In my PC, so I have an NVIDIA graphics card. So essentially what it does is it uses the graphics card to do this real time. It's all like while I was doing it, it just, you can see it is in sync, the left and right?
That is amazing.
So I was just playing with it by just moving around my eyeballs.
And it's not like cutting too. It looks like it's moving it too. It doesn't.
It's
look
not like
as much.
It's amazing. It's kind of a little bit eerie, right? It's not a cut and paste job. It's very
creepy.
It's very clean, right? You can see the left is looking down, but the right is almost looking straight. Type of thing. It's a little creepy, but yeah, I think the technology is already chopping up pieces of your body parts and trying to compensate for what's not there. That's essentially what it is. So that's the NVIDIA Maxine. You can download from their website. They just need to create a login. There's other things which are enhancing audio quality and other things which probably not immediately perceivable like this one. So I thought I'll bring this to show how cool the technology is already trying to track face movements and body movements and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah,
so that's
that
one piece.
That reminds me. I talked to a company in India, like a startup, right? They were doing facial recognition software on a laptop, and then they gave me a phone thing where I could look at it, and based on my facial features, it'll give me a rating. Okay, you're 80% happy, 30%, and you change your
read the emotions. Yeah,
read the emotions. I'm like, what? So that's very. I thought that's where you go with that.
No, this one, the facial emotion reading. There's even JavaScript. There's a website now that there are JavaScript kits that you can use, except that they're all intense and they take a lot of GPU cycles or CPU cycles. But that's come a long way too. Reading from your facial expression, how are you feeling? That's a fun project too.
So
all right.
did you have a stable diffusion?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm bringing.
I want to see you transformed.
So this is, again, I'll just start with this one, right? So basically, Stable Diffusion, I downloaded the SDK, and again, I saw some article on EBSynth, which is another tool. EBSynth, just to be clear, right? Stable Diffusion basically takes text, creates images, takes images and creates other images. But when you combine that with EBSynth, it seemed way more powerful, because EBSynth is a tool where you can, let's say you have a video of the person on the left with the spectacles, right? And this is a short clip, and it has like 100 frames, let's say. You take one of those frames and then customize it to make it look like somebody. In this case, I took one of the frames and ran it through the Stable Diffusion, say make a Tom Cruise painting out of it, right? And then I got that image, and then I fed it to EBSynth and it makes every frame looks a version of that frame. So the net result, you can see how, so the left, you can see essentially simulated the same exact video with a different person now. All it took was one keyframe to create a special effect and feed it. And now it's substituted the person on the left completely with the person on the right. So this is crazy, right? Again, it's not deepfake, right? It's not able to do tiny lip movements and all the other stuff. But if you have, it shows the power of how you can transform or morph one thing to another with very little technical know-how. Right? I'm just typing stuff. I'm just saying, make it look like, I'll show you that particular panel as well, right? So this is the screen. Once you download the Stable Diffusion, right, you can upload a photo of whatever you want, and you can type in this field the special effect you want to see and generate, and there it goes. And every time you generate, it creates a new image from the web or whatever it has learned. Obviously, they're removing some brand images, like it doesn't accurately reproduce Levi Strauss here. So things like that are still constrained, but you can see from transforming me to Tom Cruise here, it retained all my background layouts. It substituted in the background. It even filled the background images with some Tom Cruise material, right? It's insane.
That is epic, yeah.
So let's see if it can generate another one.
Because on the online, that's cool. Man, it is so, you look just like him at this point.
Exactly. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Online, when I use Stable Diffusion, at least they have limits on how many images I can generate. But if you download it SDK, I'm assuming there's no limits, right? It's just using your own processing power.
You need a graphics. For all of this, you need a good graphics card if you want to see. I have a NVIDIA GTX 3090, I believe, and it does it within a few seconds, right? So it's a question of how powerful your graphics card you have. Otherwise, you might end up sitting there waiting for it to finish, right? So I just added a zombie keyword. Now you can see it generate.
And then the images behind also changed into some zombie images.
Zombie images, exactly. So that's all it is, right? It's powerful. And I feel like, for example, text to image is another thing, right? And you don't need if you're looking for images, right? Now you can generate your own image. You don't need to go, again, unless you want some stock photos of people, like you can type, right? Things like this, right? I just typed happy holidays, Christmas, and you don't want snowflakes, then you can exclude snowflakes in the bottom. But if you want snowflakes, it might generate something with snowflakes. Or you can emphasize on things, right? So basically I can say, I want more. It in brackets.
That is amazing.
You can emphasize that I want snowflakes in there, right? And it might come up with some snowflakes in there. There you go. See, once you emphasize it, it's going to bring up that one.
So I wonder how stock images there. There's big money in stock images, right?
A
I wonder
lot of
how
websites are
the
already doing this, right?
industry.
They are running this because obviously, if you think about it, now the human cost is gone, right? Now it's all graphics GPU cost, right? You throw this on a Amazon server, you can run a service to generate images all day at pennies, right? Whatever it costs plus
Limited,
profit,
yeah.
right? So
I'm just
that
saying for people who, I know there'll be very specific, let's say wildlife scenery or something, but I don't know what can you create. I know when I played around with it, I could create like real life photography wildlife. Can you try that? I want to see because I want
real
to see.
life, sure.
I saw this
Tell me what you want. Real life,
real
uh,
life photography
wild,
lion
wild,
in the savannas. So just say savannah maybe.
savannah,
Yeah.
savannah. Let's see what it comes up with. A lot of this is, I think it's taken. There you go. That looks
That
real.
is great.
I don't know which
I know.
website has it, but I think they alter it in some way so it doesn't look exactly the same. But I'm sure maybe it has clues from some
It's built off a model.
National
Yeah.
Geographic website, right?
That
So
is
not only that, I think I can even give you this one says in a single shot batch count, right? Let's say batch size. I want
they
eight.
can give you
Let it
multiple
get
pictures.
me eight
Choose
variations. Yeah, might take longer,
that is,
uh,
yeah.
but it's going to come up with
Well,
eight different variations.
that is very cool though. I mean, I remember doing this online, and if you did four variations, used so much of my credits, I stopped doing it because I was trying to
Yeah,
create thumbnails for.
you can do it yourself. Yeah, all you need is a machine with a graphics card. You just download the software. It's really easy. There's even video explaining how to install it. You need Python. You need this. You need that. But after that, it's just playtime. There you go.
Nice.
Um, Again, I think you can see the problem here, right? So you can see some of them are disfigured, right? This is too long. Uh, Something like it's like a kid mashing up some photos together, right? So some
And
of
like
these
a
are
collage of lion head on some other
like
animal body.
smoosh it.
Mhm.
But I found that a lot of these parameters, I think you had to, again, I had to go deeper into figuring out. But all I played is batch size and stuff. But the CGF scale is, I think, depending on how relevant or how cartoonish, whatever it is, animated or whatever. You go,
So the
let's try.
sampling method will change. I know they had different
You can
models
go
you
to
could use.
extremes. Yeah, you can go
Yeah.
30. See, it looks more cartoonish type of thing. And if you go to the other side, I don't know what it does, but again, just going to look at it from very layman's terms, right? So this is more abstract. I don't know what it is.
That you shave the lion.
Exactly. Look like wall art.
But it is such a powerful tool, right? So the bottom line is if you have this, you don't need to ever look for a thumbnail picture at a stock. You might,
You
but for
might,
the
yeah.
most part, 80-90% of the time, you can create your own royalty-free images. That is very cool.
That's the first thing, and then second thing is if you're a cartoonist, you don't need to draw every single movement, right? The eBSynth lets you take one particular frame, create the special effect, and draw, and it'll extrapolate based on other videos, right? So the movement can be replicated. You don't need to draw the same thing again, type of thing.
So you
So
can write like we talked about the kids story. We can write a kid story, and have which is just for you. Have Tom Cruise act in your story.
exactly, right. Yeah, I would say though, in my playing around, I didn't find it to do a good job with the lip movement. Like when you want to add audio to it and simulate that particular person speaking and stuff, it's extremely maybe it's intentional because it's now public and people can download and run it. That's one side, right? It has to be intentional, because otherwise I can do serious damage trying to create material. So that's one
But
aspect. That's why yeah.
they are models though, which let's say you don't want to you're great at writing, but you don't want to be face of the company. Let's say at some point you won't even sell the company, so you don't want to be face. You can recruit AI models that
Right.
you can just use it, and then it looks like the way they're moving. You can pick, right? I want an Indian model. I want a white. It doesn't matter, black,
You
whoever,
can
right?
be any
And the
avatar,
whole
right?
character,
That's the
yeah,
thing.
any avatar, and they just speaking your words, and that way it becomes more. Some people right now like to be. They don't want to be the face for whatever reasons. Because what happens is if your company becomes your face and you sell it, it's tough,
Yeah.
right? Or even if you want to walk away, it's hard. So, but having and some not everybody is always has the best hair day to be able to do every video too, right? So I just feel like these are going to be more common sooner than later, and I'm just excited for how much our kids can experiment with this now. They can have their little short movie if they wanted to do, and what would have taken a director 3 months, they can do it in 30 minutes now. It is crazy.
Exactly, exactly. And one other thing, right? I don't know whether you're watching this TV show Peripheral on Amazon Prime. If you're not, probably check it out. And the concept is this, right? So basically, it's the same thing, right? You have your personality. What if you can take that and take a peripheral unit and you can simulate your whatever inner being into that one, right, in a different world. So essentially it's all like, I know there are some NFT projects like that now. They're trying to take a personality and ingest it into an NFT, right? So it can be trained and it can behave like what you want it to be, things like that. So now it's all more coming towards like, okay, we can take the inner person and fit any visual appearance around it, type of thing.
That
So
is
it's crazy.
that is I think we that is amazing. That blows my mind just the amount of use cases around it. But I've always liked the replica concept where you have a mentor, a friend, a dad, a sister, it doesn't matter. Like you, let's say you lost a loved one, imagine being able to have a character that you can
Correct.
talk to who speaks like them, like just like we saw with our character.ai we just saw, right? That's for public figures, but if you create one for a person you want to be with as a friend, or a friend you lost, or a friend you or a girlfriend you broke up with, you can still have a substitute. They can have meaningful conversation. It just blows my mind that's possible.
That's exactly, yeah, that's one of the, even in that particular TV show it comes up, right? If somebody dies, they create a peripheral out of it and keep it as a companion just to talk and get the emotional feeling out of it. It's crazy. This is all coming. I think it's all in the making already.
That is amazing. I mean, yes, I can't wait. And again, we can nerd about this for a while, but this is exciting. If you guys like it, let us know. But we will try to do more hands-on, testing products just to make sure this is exciting for us. So hopefully you guys like it too. We will
Absolutely,
bring some
absolutely.
more information along the same lines. I enjoyed it, so I would love to see more products. I love how you transform into Tom Cruise just like that. So with the click of button, I wish it was that easy, but that's perfect.
Literally
At
that
least I'm
easy, right?
careful to look
Yeah.
like Tom Cruise. Awesome. Thank
All
you,
right,
Balaji,
cool.
for your time, and I will talk to you guys next time. Have a great day.
Thanks, Rajni.